So let's do this real quick. So let's talk about per 1 molecule of glucose, right? So, okay, so from glycolysis, we had 2 NADH, pyruvate to acetyl-CoA, we've got 2, right? Because we made 2 pyruvates, so plus 2. And then Krebs cycle, 3 times 2, right? Because we had 2 acetyl-CoAs, so that's 6, right? So that equals 10, right? Did I miss any? 10 NADH, right? And then so yeah, 10 NADH times 3 equals 30 ATP, right? And then FADH, we only got 2, right? So we got 2 FADH2 times 2 ATP. That gives us 4 ATP. So then we get 34 ATP. That's from NADH and FADH2. But then we also get 2 ATP from glycolysis and 2 ATP from Krebs cycle. So that's 4, and so 38 ATP. Now,
you end up with 38 after all of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not really, though.
Okay.
And I'll explain why. So, and this is kind of where I would clarify with the teacher, because really what it boils down to is what are you using at the end here, right? The reason why you don't get exactly 3 ATP from NADH and exactly 2 from FADH is that when we're all done, we've got ATP in the middle of the mitochondria, and the ATP needs to go this way, get out of the mitochondria, which requires some use of energy, right? And so what you actually get from the ATP isn't 100% of the ATP you made. Does that kind of make sense? So this would be like the maximum possible, right? But really, it's more like this 2.5, 1.5, which will give you like 32, right? Because if we did 10 times 2.5, that's 25. This is 3 plus 4, 32, right? And so it depends on what equivalent you're using. Like in the book, it'll use 3 and 2, but it might be 2.5 and 1.5. There's no such thing as a half of an ATP, but it's just saying that some energy is lost in the transport of ATP and everything. Another thing you might see is that, so in this process, glycolysis, we made NADH, right? But the electron transport chain is in here, right? And so the NADH needs to get to the electron transport chain. So for these two, we might not get exactly 3. It might be more like 2. And so something that the book does, the book says it's 36. And this is, I think, is the magical number. I would ask him, though, whether you need to go to his office or whatever, because that would be a dumb thing to get wrong on the test, because if you understand like what you're getting from each step, I mean, and if it were just something stupid like, oh, I did 3 instead of 2.5 or something like that, that'd be dumb, right? So I would just ask him that. But does that make sense, though, why you'd get less ATP from this NADH and not the rest? Because basically the rest of these NADH, FADH2 are being created right where the electron transfer chain occurs, but these ones have to get into the mitochondria to get to the electron transfer chain, and that requires energy or transport and stuff like that. So, okay.
Where's acetyl-CoA formation in the location again?
It's in the inside of the mitochondria. So,
is it like the...
Can I see your book real quick? I don't have this part. I think it's chapter 25. Okay, this.
Is it like in the inner membrane space? Or?
Yeah. Oh wait. Hold on. Wait. Let me look at this. It's been a while. So we've got. Okay. Yeah, so I kind of lied a little bit. So, well, it depends on how you look at it. So, glycolysis occurs in the outside, right? And the product is pyruvate. Pyruvate then goes in to the inside of the mitochondria, becomes acetyl-CoA, and then goes into the Krebs cycle.
Okay.
Makes sense? Nothing really happens in this part except at the electron transport chain. Did you guys go over that in detail a little bit?
Yeah.
How you're pumping protons and then creating a concentration gradient type of thing? Did you do that?
Yeah, it, trying to find a picture of the model.